Welcome back. In this lecture 12, I will continue my discussion on thermal initiation, which I started in the last lecture, and I will also talk about molecular weight and kinetic chain length. I will also discuss few other types of radical initiator, and I will start the discussion on transfer reactions in radical chain polymerization. Now, this is the expression for rate of polymerization, which we derived in couple of lectures back, and in case of thermally initiated polymerization, Ri can be replaced with this expression to give you this following expression, which we discussed in the last lecture as well. Now, we can replace the rate of polymerization in differentiation form, where we are talking about rate of disappearance of monomers from the reaction mixture being the rate of polymerization, and we can integrate this expression from monomer at 0 time to some time at t is equal to 0 to t is equal to t, then we get this expression. P is the expression, P is expressed as this quantity, where m naught or m 0 is the initial monomer concentration and m is the monomer concentration at time t, and P is called extent of conversion of monomers to the polymers. Similarly, as we talked about extent of polymerization being the percentage of or fraction of functional groups converted in step growth polymerization. We can also express I in terms of this, as this is a first order decomposition reaction. Now, in this expression we can find out Kd by finding out or determining the amount of monomer present in the medium after some time, and if we do it 2-3 different times, then we can, from those results we can find out what is the value of Kd. For example, if we leave the reaction for long enough time, almost like infinite time, maximum time is possible when there is no further reaction, then we replace P with P infinity and we get this expression. So, this is the concentration of monomer present when the reaction is completed or when enough time has been given for reaction to happen, and P is the conversion at time, long enough time. Now, if we divide this equation by this equation, then we can get this expression. So, if we know the value of P and P infinity, then we can get the value of Kd. We can get the value of Kd from any 2 times. We can do experiment at 2 different time and get P value to find out what is the value of Kd. Let us quickly do a numerical problem, where we are talking about a benzoyl peroxide initiated polymerization of a monomer follows the simple kinetic scheme which we just discussed, where rate constant and F being independent conversion. For a polymerization system, M0 is given 2 molar and I0 also given 10 to the minus 2 molar, and the limiting conversion P infinity is given at 10%, which means 0.1. So, we need to increase P infinity from 10% to 20%. What should we do? Would we increase or decrease M naught, or by what factor, or would we increase or decrease by I naught by what factor? Now, this is the expression of P infinity. So, you can see that there is no term M naught here. So, basically we cannot change M naught and increase the P infinity value from 10% to 20%. We can change the initiator concentration I 0 and we can change the P infinity value. So, we can plot or write 1 minus 0.2, this is that our target P infinity value required, and 1 minus 0.1. So, given by I naught 0 at 20% conversion, 20% P infinity value, and I naught 10% to the power half. So, this gives the ratio of I naught at 20% divided by I naught 10% as 4.48. So, basically we have to increase the initiator concentration almost 4.5 times to increase the limiting monomer conversion from 10% to 20%. Okay, let us talk about kinetic chain length. Kinetic chain length is related to molecular weight of the polymer produced in this reaction. We will talk about molecular weight in the next slide. First, let us define what is kinetic chain length. Kinetic chain length of a radical chain polymerization is defined as the average number of monomer molecules consumed or polymerized per each radical which initiates a polymer chain. Let me explain this in little detail. We know a radical, say R dot, initiates a polymerization reaction, and this is the schematic representation of the monomer, and we get a propagating radical. So, each propagating radical is a kinetic chain, and the number of monomer molecules consumed per or polymerized per R dot in this particular case is called the kinetic chain length. So, nu is the kinetic chain length for this particular propagating radical or kinetic chain. Now, let me explain little more. For example, if I think that for unit time, for let us say 1 minute or 1 hour, 1 minute, let us consider 1 minute. Now, 500 monomer are polymerized or consumed in 1 minute. Now, at the same time 5 radicals initiated polymer chain and same time in 1 minute. So, in 1 minute 500 monomers are consumed. So, this is nothing but rate of polymerization Rp, because Rp is described by or defined by the rate of disappearance of monomer or consumption of monomer. So, this is nothing but Rp, and 5 is the number of radicals which initiates polymer chain. So, this is nothing but rate of initiation. Now, so this is equivalent to rate of initiation and this is equivalent to rate of polymerization. Now, in this case 500 monomers has consumed and 5 radicals has initiated polymer chain. So, each polymer chain or propagating polymer chain in this case will have on average 500 by 500 monomers, which means the kinetic chain length for this case is 100, on average is 100, and which is given by Rp divided by Ri. So, nu is given by rate of polymerization or rate of consumption of monomer from the reaction mixture, and this is the rate of initiation of polymer chain. So, for a given time, if we divide by this Rp by Ri, I should get the kinetic chain length, which is the number of monomer units consumed per each radical. Now, we can also write this is equivalent to RT, because from the steady state assumption we know this is nothing Ri equals to RT. So, we can write kinetic chain length is Rp divided by Ri, which is nothing but Rp divided by RT, and we know the expression for RT is Kp m dot m. Remember, m dot is the concentration of total radical present in the reaction mixture, and RT is given by twice Kt m dot square. So, we can replace these two, and in this expression, and m dot cancels out, one of the m dot cancels out. So, we get this expression. To find out this m dot, we again rearrange this to get this expression. We have done it earlier, and for a thermally initiated chain, this is the rate of initiation. So, we can replace this value here, and from there to m dot value we get the kinetic chain length expression is this for thermally initiated radical polymerization. So, again once again kinetic chain length is the number of monomer units consumed per each radical produced, which basically initiated the polymer chain. Now, what is the relation between kinetic chain length and molecular weight? Again, this is the propagating radical or the kinetic chain length. Now, we know that this propagating radical actually get terminated mainly by two methods, one by combination or coupling method, which is the most abundant or most feasible way of getting termination of, or actually termination happens, and the other is by disproportionation. Now, if coupling happens, what will happen? Like in case of coupling, I have one radical, another radical which combines or couple give us a single monomer chain. So, two kinetic chain or two propagating radical reacts with each other and forms a single dead polymer chain. So, in this case, if this is this, that means there's new number of monomer units, and in this case also new number of monomer units, then total m plus n value would be twice n. So, degree of polymerization would be twice n in this case. Now, what is the number of initiator residues present in this chain? I have one this side and there is another in the other sides. So, I have, so if these two reacts, I get a single polymer chain, and in this case two ends I have two initiator residues. So, if the termination happens by combination or coupling, then the degree of polymerization is given by twice the kinetic chain length, and the number of initiator residues present in a single polymer chain is given by 2, because both sides we have one initiator residues. Now, if the termination happens by disproportionation, then we have two polymer chain which average number of monomers will be new, because I have two chains which giving two kinetic chain or two propagating radical giving two chains. So, on average the value of degree of polymerization would be equal to kinetic chain length, and in this case there would be one initiator residues per polymer chain. So, in general we can write degree of polymerization given by B. B is the fraction of B is the average number of initiator fragments or initiator residues per polymer chain, and we can just rearrange this to get this expression where A is the fraction of propagating chains undergoing termination by coupling reaction. Now, we know Mn is given by m naught, which is the monomer molecular weight or structural unit molecular weight multiplied by degree of polymerization. In this case we are talking about number average degrees of polymerization. So, we get number average molecular weight. If we are using XW, then we also can get MW in this case. So, this is how Mn or number average molecular weight or molecular weight is related to kinetic chain length through degree of polymerization. So, we know from these expressions that Mn or the molecular weight is proportional to the kinetic chain length, and we have found out the kinetic chain length expression for kinetic chain length in last slide. So, we can go back and revisit. This is the expression for rate of polymerization and this is the rate of expression for kinetic chain length, which is also proportional to molecular weight, and this is of course for thermal initiation polymerization. And if we can look at this expression, if we increase molecular weight, then both rate of polymerization and molecular weight or kinetic chain length increases. So, both of them increases, and if we increases the initiator concentration, then the rate of polymerization will increase, but the molecular weight or the kinetic chain length decreases. So, it is always preferable to do a radical chain polymerization to at a higher monomer concentration to get high rate of polymerization as well as high molecular weight, but there are some problem of using high monomer concentration, which we will discuss in coming lectures. So, basically this is important. We should know that if we want to increase the rate of polymerization and molecular weight, we can increase the monomer concentration, but if we increase the initiator concentration, then it increases the rate of polymerization, but it does not increase or rather decrease the molecular weight. Now, how to select the thermal initiator for the polymerization we plan to do, and that is given by the T hub value and what is my time of experiment required. For example, if we give the value for some of the T hub values for common initiators like AIBN, if I write the values for 50 degree centigrade, it is 74 hours, 70 degrees centigrade it is 4.8 hours, 85 degrees centigrade we not reported, 100 degrees centigrade it is 7.2 minute. For benzoyl peroxide 7.3 hours, 1.4 hours, 20 minutes. So, if you look at this data, generally we look for the initiator which basically have half an hour between in this range. So, if we do the reaction say with AIBN at very high temperature 100 degree centigrade, the most of the initiator will decompose at very fast time, half of the initiator will decompose within 7.2 minutes. So, the reaction rate will be very fast, but as a result what will happen, our molecular weight will be drastically low, as well as if the rate of polymerization is very high, there are some problem which I will discuss in coming slides. So, generally AIBN is used in the range of 60 degrees centigrade to 80 degrees centigrade, and benzoyl peroxide is used in 80 degrees centigrade to 95 degrees centigrade. So, what is the reaction temperature required, and that is given by also the solvent which we are using. Depending on that, we actually choose the radical initiator which we want to use for our polymerization reaction. Typical value for the dissociation or the rate constant for dissociation is around 10 to the power 4 to 10 to the power minus 9 second, and the practical value for Kd is 10 to the power minus 2 10 to the power minus 6 second inverse. So, this is the required Kd value generally we use for the standard polymerization radical polymerization reaction. Now, we also know there is a term in the initiator rate of initiation and rate of polymerization, and also kinetic chain length, which is given by F, which is initiator efficiency. Initiator efficiency is nothing but the fraction of radicals which got produced in the first step, which actually could start a polymerization process. For example, if I generate 100 radicals in the first step, dissociation step, and out of which 80 actually start a polymerization chain and 20 get lost by some other mechanism, then my efficiency would be 0.8 or 80%. And generally the way it basically gets disappears, some of the radicals are lost. For example, if I take the case of AIBN and I have this radical, and then this can self react with each other, and this radical can react with each other and form non-radical species, which will be unable to start the polymerization reaction. So, some of the AIBN radicals are lost. Similarly, it can also react with itself to form this molecule. Another example could be a benzoyl peroxide. For example, benzoyl peroxide can produce this radical, and this is the radical first produced from benzoyl peroxide, and this can react with itself and produce a non-radical species. So, some of the radicals are lost in this way, and this can also dissociate to form a radical like this plus carbon dioxide, which can actually also react with each other among themselves to form non-radical species. So, basically this is some of the example how these radicals which are produced in the first step of dissociation can get destroyed and not used for starting a polymerization chain, and the fraction of the radicals which got generated in the first dissociation step used for polymerization chain initiation is called initiator efficiency, that we understood now. Now, after going through the initiation by thermal mechanism, there are other mechanism for initiation. For example, redox initiation, and I will go little fast in this initiation, because I said in the beginning that the thermal initiation method is the most used method in both industry and academia. So, in many oxidation reduction reaction produces radicals that can be used for initiate polymerization reaction, and we call that process as redox initiation or redox activation. And the advantage is that this initiation can take place at moderate temperature as well as lower temperature. Now, some of these redox systems involve direct electron transfer between reductant and oxidant, while others involve the intermediate formation of reductant oxidant complex. And some of the examples are peroxide in combination of reducing agents like hydrogen peroxide with ferrous ion giving you this hydroxy radical and ferric ion. And there are other peroxides which can be used, some of them generic structure are shown here. So, this can undergo oxidation reduction reaction to produce these radicals. And not only we can use ferrous ion, but we can use other ions also which can themselves get oxidized and reduce the peroxides to form radical. There are other ways to also generate, for example, acyl peroxides can be used in organic media along with amines as reactant, and the example is benzoyl peroxide. And in case of benzoyl peroxide, the advantage is that we can use this in organic media, and we can use basically in organic media. The example for redox initiation is a combination of variety of inorganic reductants and inorganic oxidants, for example, persulfates and say iron ferrous ion producing this radical, anion radical, and we can use this system as well. There is a very common such example which are used for in biology labs for making acrylamide gels for electrophoresis. In that case, the radical initiator used is ammonium persulfate APS plus a diamine, TE generally is called TEE dimet tetra N dash tetra methylene ethylene diamine. This is a very standard initiator pair used for making acrylamide gels, which is a very standard techniques in biology labs for doing protein electrophoresis. So, if we now we know the examples of redox initiation and the rate expression, we again use the same rate of polymerization, where in this case we will use the rate of initiation for redox initiation, which is given by Kd of concentration of reductant and concentration of oxidant. So, we replace this Ri with this expression to get this. There is another common way to use initiation process is photo initiation, and the advantage of photo initiation is that polymerization can be done by limiting, like we can direct the light in a part of the reaction mixture to polymerize that part, and we can switch off switch on the polymerization by switching off and on the light. So, basically we can turn on the polymerization process by turning the light switching off and on. The initiation rate also can be very fast and can be controlled by a combination of sources like factors like source of radicals, light intensity and temperature. And The advantage is that industrial photopolymerization is typically used for solvent free systems, which is very environmentally friendly, but the disadvantage is that light cannot enter a depth in a reaction mixture. So, if the reaction mixture is thickness is low, like if you want to do polymerization in a film or something like that, coatings, then a photopolymerization is probably preferable, because in that case light do not need to penetrate a higher thickness. So, in this case photopolymerization is well suited for surfaces and other thin layer applications like printing and coating industries. Some of the examples are like benzoketones and benzoins, and even AIBN also can produce a radical on shining light. And these are some of the examples which we are generally used for photopolymerization, and the rate expression is given by this. The rate of initiation is given by R I, in this case is twice A phi dash I A, where I A is the intensity of light and phi dash is the number of radical produced per light photon absorbed, and F is the initiator efficiency as we described before. So, the rate of polymerization will be just replacing the R I with this expression, we get this. There are other methods which are sometimes used by for radical initiation, and one example is like ionizing radiation, which by either using radioactive source and particle accelerator or using very high energy radiation, for example gamma rays and X-ray. Then the mechanism is very complex, but is basically some of the simple way to show the mechanism of formation of radical by high energy radiation as is shown here. And examples like particulate radiation like electron beam, neutron beam and alpha particle, and in that case this is the simple way of showing how the radical is produced in that radiation, but the process is really complex. And there is also possibility that sometimes we store a monomer sample in lab or in plant, it sometimes actually gets polymerized by itself, especially if we keep it in outside room temperature, and this happens during summer time, especially if we keep a bottle of styrene outside, and it is always found out that after some time few months or something, that bottle is basically became a glass material and the styrene inside the bottle is polymerized, and that happened because it is self monomer itself produces radical and basically initiates the chain reaction, and that does not happen for everything. It actually if we look carefully, then we can find out that actually the impurities present like peroxides or some other impurities which presents, they actually dissociate themselves to produce radical in ambient condition in presence of light, that and they actually start the radical polymerization process. There are few exceptions like styrene, and we saw that in case of styrene actually two styrene actually for dimerize Diels-Alder way to get this, and which basically produces one hydrogen atom transfer happen between the dimer and a styrene monomer to produce these two radical, which actually start polymerization and form a polystyrene ring. So, basically if we want to store styrene, it is very difficult to store unless we keep it at low temperature and in dark. So, most of the styrene bottle comes with little bit of stabilizer. We will talk about stabilizer in next next lecture. So, with this I will stop. So, we basically completed the examples and the rate expression for the different types of initiation processes.